Welcome to the Youth Services Department. We've got our little information sign right here talking about how we are in our Library Express model now. So that means you can come to the library to ask a question, use the computers or the copy machine, and look for books and check out books. We just ask that people limit their visits to 30 minutes for safety and wear a mask whenever they're in the building. So coming into our department, there's Mia over there. This is our Youth Services Service Desk. So if you need to ask a question, if you have any trouble with the self-check, you can come over here and ask. We do ask that you distance. We've got a tape line here to help you out a little bit. So you approach the line and then wait to be asked to move closer. You can see we've got our little shields up right here. And then over here, this is our self-check and our catalog station. So at the self-check, you can check out your own materials. We do ask that everyone try to do that first, just for extra safety and distancing. But if you have any problems, definitely feel free to ask us at the desk. Here at the catalog, you can search for items. Now you may notice the computers look a little different right now. They have some plastic on the keyboard, which I know some of you may not be used to. This is just to protect the keyboard. So right now we are being extra careful with cleaning and safety. So we're doing a lot of cleaning and sanitizing of our computer areas and high-touch areas, and this is the way to where we can do that and still protect the equipment. Over here, we have one of the most popular features of our library. It is Shelly, our library turtle. See, she's kind of resting and hanging out right now. So she's our red-eared slider. If you want to find out more about her and her backstory, you can go to our website at fppl.org. She has her own page on there, if you can believe it. Now we're going to come over to the picture bucket. So if you haven't been to our library in a little while, you may not know we had a big renovation. We wrapped that up, I think, right at the beginning of last year, actually. We've added a few new things since, like these brand new signs that actually came in today, and those colorful signs at the top here. So on that back wall, we've got our concept books. So those are books for kind of concepts like alphabet letters, numbers, shapes, colors, opposites, those kind of things. And then here's the rest of our picture book collection. The letters at the top are the first letter of the author's last name. So these are by author. And we have a couple of special things in here too, like our Seek and Find collection is so popular we have it in its own section. And now you can find it all the easier with this great sign. So it's under Seek in our picture book collection. And if you're looking for a popular character, like for example, Wonder Woman or Supergirl or Spider-Man or Batman or the Avengers, you can look up under those names too to keep them all. We try to keep those all together for you. Over here is our early reader collection. So this is our collection for kids who are just starting to learn how to read and are working to graduate towards our other chapter books. You might notice we have some really colorful labels on the side, red, yellow, green, and blue, and we have a sign here that explains about how that works. Our red level books are for the kids who have really only just started to practice with reading. So for the most part, they're going to be working with an adult with the book, where the adult probably does most of the reading and they do a little bit of sounding out or practicing with the sight words. And then the collection moves to the blue level, which are almost basically like some of our chapter books on the other side. That's the point where you can graduate over. And feel free, if you don't know what color level you are, we do have that sign right there, but you can always kind of practice too. We tend to use something called the 5-finger rule here to kind of give us an idea. If you are reading a book, like you can count on 1 finger every time you come across a word that you don't know. And that'll kind of help you decide if that color level is too easy for you or if it's maybe a little too challenging. Over in this section, we have our new picture books and our new beginning readers. And of course, our very popular kits. So on this side, we have our Storytime to Go kits. So these are basically a story time in a bag. They've got multiple books, usually 5 or 6 books, music, and some activity. Sometimes it's a puppet. In our dinosaur case, it is some dinosaur skeleton action figures, which are kind of fun. The ones we have out right here, right this moment, are Owl's Farm Fairy Tales and Transportation. We have even more than that. On this side, we have some of our other kits. This is usually where you'll find our robotics kit, our Ozobots, our Wonder Workshop robots, and our language learning kit. And we're adding others. We're going to have a baking kit added very soon and a yoga kit. Here we have some special books that we are spotlighting. Right now we are spotlighting a lot of our collections and some of our seek and finds, because those can be really handy when someone comes in and they don't really know what they're looking for. There's a little bit of everything here. Okay, now we're going to come across and show you some of the rest of the collection. Here you see our study room. So right now we are not offering inside the library activities, and that includes study space right now. This may be something that we will move back to down the line when everything's a little bit healthier. But for right now, they are closed at the moment. But right across from here is the Spanish collection. So all of the books on this side that you're looking at least 50% in Spanish. And there's many of them in this collection that are 100% fully in Spanish. And the collection starts for even really young kids. So like those ones on the bottom that you see are all board books. And then we have fiction and nonfiction all the way up through middle grade. And even a few things at the end for parents if they are interested. And then after the Spanish language collection, we've got our DVDs, audiobooks, our books on CD, our playways, and CDs. So let me show you some of our playways because we have some new things in here I want you to take a look at. So of course we have these playways. So these are books that are on a player, just like the one you see on the cover. All you have to provide is your own headphones or earbuds, and we take care of the rest, basically. Over here, we've got our Playaway launch pads. These are preloaded tablets. Most of them are preloaded with games, but we even have some like this one, our Lumberjanes tablet, our Adventure Times launch pad, that are preloaded with comic book collections. Our Playaway Views, we have a few of these. These are loaded with video. They're little video players. In this case, it's loaded with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. These are our book packs. So this is a collection that contains books, usually they're early readers, paired with a player, just like our regular Playaways, just with a book included in the kit. That's why they're a little bit bigger. But the newest thing we started getting in is this Wonder Book. So this is going to be a really cool thing that we'll be adding more of as we go along. We've got a few out right now. I'll show you Princess Hair, which is one of my favorites. The player is actually contained in the book. It's all one piece. So you can read along and play it all at the same time. And it takes up just as much space as a regular book. Pretty cool, right? Here is our nonfiction collection. So I happen to be standing in front of fairy tales right now, which is one of my favorite areas. But we cover all kinds of subjects in here. Science, holidays, computers, coding, crafting, baking, gardening, just about everything you can think of. We even have a lot of books on gaming. Some of our most popular gaming books right now have been our Minecraft books. And at the very end of our nonfiction, we cap that off with our biography collection. We've got some really wonderful picture book biographies right now that you should definitely check out. Our biographies are on the shelf in a slightly different order than the rest of our collection. So in fiction picture books, you'll see things on the shelf by the author name. In the biography section, of course, they're by the name of the person the book is about. So, for example, this book on Gloria Steinem, it would be under the biography section under Steinem with an S. Or if you were looking for Sylvia Townsend, I love this, how Sylvia Townsend became the bookmobile ballerina. I know you want to know about that story. You'll look under Townsend T. Right across here is our fiction section. So this is our fiction chapter books. You can see some of them here. We'll come around. And then, of course, our graphic novels, which is one of our popular sections right now. And we've got graphic novels for ages ranging from basically like 2nd grade all the way through 7th grade. And we do have graphic novels for even younger kids too, but we have those at the end of the beginning reader section. And over here, finally, is our series section. So like the graphic novels, this ranges from roughly about 2nd grade, basically right after people are graduating from the early reader books, all the way to middle grade up to 7th grade. So we've got books ranging from like Ellie Ultra, which is like for some of our younger readers in this section, all the way to Maya and the Rising Dark by Rena Barron, which is a new fantasy series for middle graders. And finally, right back here, we have our new chapter books. This is fiction and nonfiction and biography. And all of those things I just showed you, we spotlight them back here. You may notice these rails that have started to pop up around our department. That's actually going to be there for your artwork. So once we move a little bit closer to in person, we are going to need your help to fill up those spaces. I hope you'll show us something, because we would love to display it here. And that wraps up our virtual tour. And now it's time for our story, so let's go.